Hi, everybody. Welcome to the CEO Without C podcast. I'm EO, and today I'm sitting with Trevor, the founder of Tagger AI and Pancrest Capital.
Thank you, EO. Nice.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you? Heard you just went to the United States to see a lot of founders.
Yeah, great. Couldn't be better. And really thank you for coming today because we have this, I think, appointment with you quite a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we couldn't pull it off because of our busy schedules. And I'm very happy to say that you are probably the youngest founder I have interviewed since the start of the podcast.
Yeah, I think I'm probably one of the youngest, but I think a lot of KOLs are younger than me. So,
Yes, we do have some younger KOLs, but I think KOLs are great, but they don't have the same perspective as you do because you build a series of projects and you're now building another VC fund.
Yes.
Is that correct? Can you tell?
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us more about these two ventures?
Yes. So the first thing I built, well, actually for quite a few years, is Tagger AI. So Tagger is a decentralized data labeling platform for people to do data collection, labeling, management, and trading. Mm-hmm. So it's quite simple. We're built on a process called D Corp, so decentralized corporation, where we have crowdsourced people coming onto the platform, do data labeling for specialized industries.
Mm-hmm. Right. That sounds like a very viable business model for Web3 and AI with a basic fundamental data labeling layer. And on top of it, we have a token incentivized layer that governs the economical behavior of all the participants, right?
Yes.
And we do see there's a bunch of like bigger startups and companies doing like similar business model, like you scale the AI, for example. What do you think are the difference between all these players, and what do you think is the end game of data labeling as a category of business?
Yes. So personally, I think data labeling has been going around for around 9 to 10 years. So around it's been evolving since LAM came out with like ILHF, even AIF. But what we try to do with blockchain, I think blockchain is the future of data labeling, but not for the reason that it provides just crowdsourcing itself. Is that firstly, as of the current market, I think data is the single most workable AI business model in the current market. Not saying in 2 years, but in the current market. Because, if we say, for example, AI inference, AI, training model, I think they're still a bit subpar in terms of industry grade. So if it's not really that usable, then why would business even use it? If it's even if it's safe, private, authenticatable, permissionless, whatever else, if it's not that much usable, then why would people use it? But I think data is the single most usable technology or aspect of AI because it's simple. You just have people do the task. And I think in terms of crowdsourcing, what blockchain enables to the current market as a whole structure is a decentralized corporation, or it's built on basically what I talked about before, democratic socialist structure. So where you have, it's like the Bitcoin network. So tens of thousands of miners are on the network at the same time. Similarly, so many data labelers are on Tagger at the same time right now. Mm-hmm. And we don't really need managers or even, business locations to actually manage these people. So you see, when Scale AI, they scale beyond, the pun intended.
Yep.
So when they scale beyond 1,000 workers, 10,000 workers, then they'll see a huge rise in operational and managerial cost. Mm-hmm. But whereas in a Bitcoin network, no matter how many miners are in the network, there's minimal addition in managerial cost.
That's right.
Same as Tagger. We can host, 100K, 800K as of yet, potentially over 1 million worker at the same time without needing, a huge rise in managerial costs because everything's managed by smart contracts. Mm-hmm. Everything's authenticated on blockchain. Mm-hmm. I think that's the most powerful aspect of having blockchain as the foundation of a decentralized corporation, or if not in the future, a decentralized society. Mm-hmm. So also a second part in the data labeling procedure, I think, is that all data under the D Corp system are firstly decentralized and permissionless. And that's very important for data because right now there's a bottleneck in AI where each company work behind closed doors. So obviously you see Scale AI being acquired by Meta. And instantly ChatGPT stops their orders from Scale AI. Why is that? Because Meta might steal the data from ChatGPT. They don't want that. But with blockchain, then everything's authenticated on the blockchain. Even with bribery, so say if you have data secured by a high-level manager, even with bribery, if he happens to transfer the data out, then everything's recorded. That doesn't happen. So that means we can allow collaboration between businesses. Businesses can no longer work behind closed doors where, we have two companies working collaboratively with each other on a blockchain. And that cuts costs, obviously. There's no repetitive work. If a single piece of data set originally cost 10 million, not saying it's going to be shared 5 million to 5 million between us, but maybe 7 million for each of us. Cuts costs and builds trust. There's no trust in data traditionally.
Right. I like that. And in that case, you must ensure the decentralized storage and usage of this data. How do you make that happen?
Yes. So decentralized storage, obviously, we are powered by BNB Greenfield. So the native storage system on BNB chain. So decentralized storage is, firstly, it's never down, doesn't have downtime. So it's especially important for future AI businesses, where you see yesterday we had Cloudflare being down and nobody was able to use ChatGPT. But with data storage, we want decentralized storage. But also sometimes it's very difficult to pitch decentralized storage to some of our partners like Huawei. So we work with Huawei on some data tasks, and they would require private servers. Well, obviously we also build it for them, but that would be like a semi-decentralized approach. So preferably decentralized storage, but it takes time to actually pitch it out to traditional businesses.
You mentioned there are already over 1 million workers in your network?
Over 800K, but
over
roughly
800K,
yeah,
roughly a million.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And do they make money eventually? Do they end up making good money as salaries?
Yes, like obviously not a lot of money because like data labeling usually traditionally gives you around 10 to 12 US dollars. So in our case, we enable like everyone in the world. You can even work a daytime job at McDonald's.
Yeah, for sure.
And after work, come on Tagger and do some data labeling for a side job. Or even, I was talking to another founder another day because I know a young founder, but older than me, obviously. So when he was in high school, he started founding a lot of companies already. And he would always take his toilet break to have meeting with investors. It's a very interesting person. So he's the type of guy that takes advantage of all of his, scattered time.
Yep.
And I was saying with him, if you were in like, secondary school and based on your habits, you'd probably be labeling during your toilet time at Tag.
Wow.
And I was saying, why, like, instead of being paid on the toilet at a company, then why not earn an extra pay on the toilet at Tagger?
Yeah, why don't you do that at the same time, right?
Flexible,
Yeah. I kind of like share the same thesis with you because I've been, in the past 3 years, I've been exploring, investing, and supporting projects in the deeping category, whereas we have the thesis of future of work because we believe that in the AI era, people have a new form of work where they work for open source networks instead of corporations where they gain capitals rather than fiat-based, fixed salaries. And they probably are multitasking, they're moonlighting in different jobs. So there's the guy that I interviewed, I met him in Discord. He's like 35 years old, lives in California, and he earns like $3,000 by mining different deeping projects within one single car. He's driving the car with a dash cam in his car. I think that dash cam is from HiveMapper or some other deeping projects. And he also mines demo. It's like the mileage and the car data are like grabbed from the car from the vehicle and sent to the decentralized data storage layer and he get a reward. That guy is so smart that he pull out like $3,000 a month from these side jobs, side hustles. And you're telling me something very similar to that with data labeling.
Yes.
And what do you think the future looks like as a young, passionate Web3, founder? Like, what do you think we should build for the upcoming AI era?
Yeah, honestly, I think I won't be generic in my answer because, we lack consumers. I'll be very honest. We lack consumers in the market. Probably going to blow up. It's like the bubble's probably going to pop.
Right.
Sometime soon. I think it's the 1999 equivalent to .com,
right.
equivalent to Web 2.
Okay.
So I think 90% of projects out there, like even with AI, they look more like a meme. The future for this market, it's very hard to predict, but obviously we know that a lot of people are investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana lately throughout this year. Well, following BlackRock's ETF. But even more so, people with gold, the gold resources and also the money money accumulated from people buying the gold and then put it in, for example, investment funds, put it in bonds and things like that, connected with Web 2 finance.
Right.
And I think it would build a rail. Once we build that rail, everything else would work. Like AI. It's very difficult for me to sell to Huawei, who are one of our partners. Very difficult to sell the decentralized corporation idea to Huawei.
Right.
They would prefer centralized storage. And we have built private servers for their network. And but in the future, when you have on-chain rails connected to off-chain finance or applicational layers, then everything like that would be much, much more simpler. It starts from B2B, then from B2B, it would extend to B2C. And that's when we have consumers going on. Once we have consumers, then 90% of founders would no longer be founding and building projects for speculators and gamblers. They would start building for consumers. It's not about how we think, it's not about how we build, but rather who's demanding our projects.
I remember whether it's George Soros or somebody else said, if a truth cannot be falsified, it's not really a truth. Are there any possibilities where your thesis might be falsified?
Oh, definitely.
We won't have a consumer-facing future, but rather, as we can see today, there are so many casinos, so many gamblers, AI taking jobs. There's no basically industrialized consumer products being massively produced. Is there any possibility that we are wrong and you are wrong?
Yes. Well, obviously, there's definitely that possibility. Like, nothing's 100% sure. But I think gambling is also a good application. And who said that, every project needs a token? Because I think blockchain, the technology itself is already very widely used in government systems, in a lot of corporate systems. And I do remember Australia, where I grew up in, Australian government spend multiple millions on trying to build a blockchain system for their internal tax. Obviously, I do believe they failed eventually, but they are still trying. Okay, so everyone's trying to do that. Blockchain technology itself will not die out. I think that's a consensus. But I think what you're talking about is how we use it for financial, or how people use it. And I think people will eventually experience blockchain technology one way or another, but they might not experience the token itself. So I think, the question was initially, more along the token side, because people were thinking, okay, if I have a decentralized version of TikTok, then I would pay the content creators in a token. I'm not sure if that would eventually work out. It depends on, if my thesis were correct. But eventually, even right now, you're using blockchain technology everywhere where you don't notice. And I think in the foreseeable future, that technology would become the foundation of AI. Because, as I said before, for example, for data, blockchain provides authentication. Even if I didn't issue the tag token, then people can still use the blockchain technology to work collaboratively. So in much the same way, we don't have to issue tokens. We don't even need individual projects for it, but rather government pushing these technology, not the tokens. And eventually, I think that's the whole flow. So, it doesn't have to be a gambling thing. It can be a utility thing just without the tokens.
Or tokens working behind the scene.
Yeah, working behind the scenes.
Backing up these applications to provide services and goods to the consumers.
Yes. Yeah. That's
all right. Yeah, that makes sense too as well, I think. And you just mentioned like casinos. What's your point of view on the current casino scene in crypto? Do you think it's healthy or unhealthy? Do you think it's gonna get worse, or do you think it's gonna self-correct? Or
we see people, a lot of the people who initially were doing NFTs then kind of faded out of the circle because they were so fixated on selling an NFT that scams people. And then people who were so fixated into, launching memes every day gradually phase out, because right now people don't buy memes on Pump Fund. People don't buy those small memes. People who build for the short term phase out. So, it's a very, very fast evolving process in crypto. And, I think it's going to self-correct, because the people who don't build for the future, or people who don't build for, if my thesis was correct again, if consumers are coming in, because who said like Hermes is not a meme? I think Hermes or these luxury brands like a meme itself.
That's right.
Because when you build a community, when you build trust, like if I buy Hermes, maybe a bag only costs, $15K.
Right.
But I need to buy 3 times that amount to actually get that bag.
Right.
That's marketing itself.
Right.
And then when you're in the Hermes VIP community, I can get that bag. And, when I give it to my wife, she takes it out to her friends. She's like, oh, good, Hermes bag.
Right.
Nice looking. She feels good.
Right.
And when she feels good, she's no longer looking for monetary return, but rather spiritual return. And I think that's the highest level of making a meme, is for people no longer to care about spiritual return, but more like a Pepe community, caring more about Pepe, the purity of the meme, the friends that they make along the way. Yeah, so I think casino is not a problem, but you need a higher level casino. You need a higher level meme.
Right.
It's like Harvard University is also a meme.
Right.
Because like in Harvard, you have donors, you have the people who form, like the donors community. Right. And then they talk business with each other. Right. We make friends along the way.
Right.
It's about bringing people together.
Right, I agree. And about casino, I think casino especially with a license, it could be a legit business. There are public companies that are casinos, DraftKings, but if we limit ourselves with a casino model, I think it's a little bit of like self-limiting, because the largest casino stock is DK. DraftKings is only $60 billion in market cap. That is sort of like small for the dreams that we want to build for,
Yeah.
That is kind of like too small for the entire thing. And as you said, I think some memes could be quite long lasting. What's your favorite meme, and what's your favorite NFT in this space?
Yeah. Personally, I prefer dogs. So so I think personally, I'm not endorsing for any financial purposes.
No, never.
Yeah,
we're not.
But
doing
I
that.
really like, because I'm building on BSC, so I really like Cheems.
Cheems.
Cheems. So because
what is the message behind Cheems? What does it try to tell people?
Yeah. So Cheems, not only a project but the meme itself, it was like in the community, it's more about resilience. So you have Cheems being a small dog and Doge being a muscular, huge dog beside it.
Okay.
It's more like the underdog trying to flip someone.
Okay.
So in that case, I think the Cheem project is also, like the real project on BSC, is also extremely resilient. It was, I remember it originally launched on ZK Sync.
Okay.
You know what happened with ZK Sync. So gradually, it didn't pop there, but then they migrated to BNB chain, kept building for around 2 years, which eventually they found some form of way to attract the community to have it blow up and list it on Binance Spot.
Right.
That's also rhymes, that also synergize with the resilience, the power of resilience and underdog taking the crown by the original meme. So everyone in the community shares that spirit. And I think, that's, it's a very good story.
Right. So do you think Cheems is more of like the underdog who wants to fight back, or is just like having this chill attitude that I don't really give a damn about how big you are, how strong you are.
Yeah, as someone young, also my classmates, my friends, honestly in Australia, the job market is not very good. So, you know, it's very difficult for young people. And I remember the first time I was seeing investors. By the way, I got rejected by like 30 plus investors, like when I first pitched things to them, like in a row, consecutively. But like what I would think about when I see them is that, you know, I don't get nervous. I'm chill. I'm like, you know, okay, even if I get rejected for 30 plus times, I'm still going to try, and I don't really care. Don't give a damn about anything. Yeah.
That sounds like your experience. Tell me your worst investor meeting.
Yeah. Let me have a think. I think my worst investment meeting was me sitting there. Like, by the way, back then I was founding an AI inference, decentralized AI inference.
That was
project.
Before Tagger, or
yeah, that was before Tagger.
Okay.
Before Tagger. Yeah, much before Tagger.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was doing a decentralized AI inference project. I was researching months and months and have built demos and everything else. Okay. And then I went into an investor, and then the investor was talking to me like a huge pro. Like he knows even more about my project than myself. Because back then I was always having an ideology of building for the long term. I wanted everyone to be able to use a low cost, a fast, decentralized network, where in case the blockchain technology infrastructure itself, the 5G network, the Wi-Fi network, or the Wi-Fi infrastructure we have based on the current world is not advanced enough for that to happen. And, you know, it's simply that he sees so many AI projects every day. And he's probably found a lot of problems. So I instantly realized after that is, you know, ideas, being smart, having a good demo, no matter how much effort you put in, there will always be 100 people better than you at that. But I think what really leads you to, you know, founding a good company is not only a good business model, not only a good idea, not only some good technicians, not only some good devs. Everyone has that. But also industry resources. I don't really personally believe that much in how Zuckerberg, you know, just drops out of Harvard in undergrad and founded, you know, something as large as Facebook. There must be a lot of difficulties along the way. And I think the whole structure of society is that you don't work from the down top. You work from the top down, trying to break social norms. So, and in that case, you need to know industry resources, and from day one, talk to investor how I can make money for you, not just, you know, I have an idea, please invest in me, please, you know, like a beggar, right? But from day one, tell investor why I can make money for you in the foreseeable half year. And once you see that money, how I can bring resources or gather, like leverage even more power, like 10 times more power with that money after half year. And firstly, you also need to know them. And secondly, you also need to be introduced by someone. So that's what I found out, especially in, I think, Australia, America, Western countries, but also in Asia as well. Yeah, well, it's about knowing people.
That's deep. That's something I never understood when I was 24. Are you a people person? Because it sounds like you are doing this people business, and you found that fundraising is more of like a people business rather than just showing your demos, your dev teams, your products. Do you agree with that? It's more of like a social kind of like, it's more of like people business instead of anything else.
Sometimes, like to an extent, I agree with that. But the reason also I found a Tagger was that because I was rejected by too many investors. So Tagger actually doesn't have a funding background. We obviously
you don't have any investors?
We don't we do have like personal investors.
You don't have any branded VCs?
Yeah, we don't have any branded investors. So I have that ideology where we start from zero because Meme started from zero, Fair Launch starts from zero. So why can't an AI project start from zero and do a fair launch?
Why not?
We had a special partnership with them where we had people do data labeling for around 2 to 3 weeks in a row and earn their rough share in the fair launch procedure for the initial 25%. And that's how Tagger launched. And to this day, 100% of tokens are still reserved for data labelers. No vesting, no portions allocated to any investor. So, to me, I think my logic is to, if I couldn't persuade an investor because they don't know me, then I'm going to do something else and work from the people, to work from the decentralized community. Once I build it, and now it's, by the way, it's listed on Binance Futures, then, you can essentially have a different way of proving to the people who, previously thought, you couldn't build something. And then, go up to them and say, now, we can talk about something
And
else.
did they eventually invest in you?
Yes, they did. Obviously, now I have, I've just founded Pancrest Capital. So we do have a list of LPs that were previously my friend as well. But, before I did a lot of projects and, found some successful projects, obviously they wouldn't believe in me. But they've seen me grow. They've witnessed me grow over these few years, operating, marketing, or founding projects over 300 million market cap, at least 3. And, they thought it's a reliable business. So they eventually became my LP for Pancrest Capital.
Let me get this clear. The storyline is, before Tagger, you're working on the AI inference project, and you get turned down by 30 VCs.
Yeah.
And after that, you started Tagger AI with no VCs, basically.
Yeah.
You didn't knock on the door with the same VCs. You basically took a different path.
Yeah.
You went to the community. You went to Fair Launch, and you launched Tagger AI. And after Tagger AI got listed, you subsequently launched another VC firm.
Yeah.
Is that how everything unfolds?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
But even before AI inference, I went to 30 different investors for AI inference. Before that, I did have 3 projects that exceeded 300 million market cap. But I never really had any, proper industry, AI industry founding experience before Tagger. So that's why, I got turned down by a lot of branded investors in AI inference. So the people who are now liquidity providers for my capital are not really those branded investors, but rather those personal investors that I wasn't looking out for when I was doing AI inference.
Are you a type of person who will keep trying the same sort of thesis, or keep trying on the same thing, or you're just gonna go around and find other possibilities? Which type of person are you?
So I think I go around to find a lot of different possibilities along the way, and not only possibilities in the same category. So I think, for example, with Tagger, right? Initially, we wanted to be very decentralized and to gain users, to have the crowdsourcing model where people don't have to invest money, but rather just invest time. And that's what people have. So they can invest time in data labeling, and we have resources, we have users, we have data. But then when we wanted to sell it to B2B companies, it became extremely difficult because Web 2 companies simply don't recognize Web 3. They fear, because they hear that blockchain is a scam. So, I needed to work my way around. So first, I would find one of my friends. So one of my friends at Blue Sky Carbon Group. I was like, okay, so I heard that you are developing a remote sensing satellite. And, so I was like, okay, I could do some data labeling for you and also at a very low price initially. And if you, found the data to be quite useful, then we can sign an official contract.
Right.
So I went to one of my friends first. And then after they secured their contract, then, the way I found Huawei, I basically connected layers, at least 5 layers of network to reach them. So that was by finding possibilities, which I, accumulated before when I was doing NFTs, when I was doing memes, when I was doing DeFi, and people who work in Web 2 funds or people who have those Web 2 network, Web 2 circles, because they don't know much about blockchain. So I would pitch it out to them and they would always find me a good friend because they don't know about the industry. And as time goes, I never see the possibility of involving them in memes. Obviously, they're very segregated. But when I founded Tagger, I started using these accumulated networks because I, planted possibilities early on.
Right.
So I would have thought out different possibilities in different categories. And I think that's extremely important for young people.
I always use the analogy of trading because crypto or Web3 is the trading comes first, right? Speculating comes first. Some people are holders. Some people are more of like speculators. I think there's a spectrum, like everybody's a mixture of both. And what do you think? You are more of like a holder or you're more of like a speculator on the spectrum?
Yeah.
As a founder.
Yeah, as a founder, like even as an investor, both basically.
Both.
But I'm much more of a holder. I'm a basically what they call dumbass who holds meme coins.
Mm-hmm.
So I can hold something for 1 year, a meme coin for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with streams, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Held it for like over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Did gain return, but obviously a lot of my portfolio would have gone down. But I don't really mind that because personally, for the short term, I don't care. Like obviously everyone cares about money, but I don't care about the goal of ultimately making that much money. For the short term, I don't care about that because I'll always think, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, if I'm who I wanted to be, and if in 20 years' time, if I'm, I don't know, monetary successful, politically successful, whatever, I wouldn't probably care about having that minus 100K loss in meme coin or, 500K loss in meme coin. I wouldn't care about that. So why would I care about it now? I'll just give you an example. I'm a holder of meme coins and I'm a holder of my project as a founder as well. But the reason I hold is not only for long-term gains, but it's also for people-to-people connections. Because I knew a meme coin founder and I bought their meme coin. So a highly successful founder. So I bought their meme coin. I bought a lot. I bought like something along the lines of like 300K when it was like very low.
Right.
Went up to them. I was like, bought a lot. I'm a true believer in your project. So I had a very long-term connection with them. And eventually they introduced me to a lot of resources. But, it's logic like that. It's not how, I want to hold just to earn money. But I hold my businesses. I hold Tagger. I hold Pancrest Capital. I hold whatever I have for gains beyond monetary gains. So it's for potential, basically. I always think, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, would I care about that much money? Hopefully I don't care about them. So why would I care about it now? So I'm a speculator at the same time, quite speculative, but I think I'm a true holder.
Yeah, I like that. Especially you talk about personal connections. This is something that we should pay more attention and energy to. I remember I was reading Reid Hoffman in his books. He talked about we should probably consider managing connections and friendships like your business. Because like obviously Reid Hoffman he's like the social king in Silicon Valley. And he has so many long-term relations with, the PayPal mafia and all the like business gurus in the space. And I think it's the same in either crypto or AI today. Let's say crypto, right? There are some people we've already known. We've known them like a couple of years ago, maybe from 2 or 3 cycles ago. They've been in the space and they just keep building, they just keep evolving and growing into like bigger projects, this kind of people. One of the things I keep telling myself is like, except for holding Bitcoins, probably should consider building longer relationships with these type of people. So what do you think are the types of founders in crypto space? Have you seen any founders that you really admire in the crypto space? Who are they?
Yeah, I think someone who work with me right now, like not admire, but like I highly consider them very highly, because I don't really admire any founders in particular, because I think over 90% of founders, as I said, they found memes. they say they found AI, they say they found DeFi, it's memes. It's about the tokens, going on the CXs and like selling. So I don't admire that, and I don't approve of that. I don't like that. But a builder with me, so I believe he hasn't earned that much money. Like earns somewhat a lot, but not like that much.
Okay.
But I think he shares that ideology in building for the long term. He doesn't really care about money. He can go into debt, but he has extremely high spiritual belief. For example, so he believes in religion, and he's a kind, religious man, and also on the spiritual side of things, he wanted to change the world, but change the world in a way not only for people-to-people interactions, but the structure. So like I said before, I think blockchain will form the foundation of the future democratic socialist society. And he wanted to build just for that. And I admire him for his spirits, for this ideology, not for his achievements. But it's because I think these type of people are the ones who will succeed in the future. Like maybe not every single one of them, but I think in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, the people who come out of blockchain will eventually not only excel economically, but will change the world in some way or another. And they will definitely not be the ones who chase after money every single day right now. Not those meme coin founders, not those people.
Yeah, I agree with that. And do you agree with that? There's actually a split between the Gen Z founders and players, between the Gen Z players and the OG players in crypto. Do you think there's a split?
I think there's definitely a split because the OG players started from mining, or they could have started building from 2016, 17, 18.
They're the maxis, right? They're the Bitcoin maxis.
Yeah. Where back then you can just write a white paper and everyone would just invest in your ICO or whatever. So that's all about money grab. Right now, obviously, it's somewhat also like that. But I think the younger generation, maybe it's just that we're too young, but I think the younger generation tends to grow up in childhood with like a slightly better living like environment than the OG generation. So in that case, I think a lot of people wouldn't be chasing that much after money, wouldn't be that hungry for money, but rather for long-term goals like spiritually freedom. A lot of people say, you want to chase financial freedom, and financial freedom is the first step to freedom. But a lot of people, I think especially, the OGs in this industry, they stop after that. They buy Ferraris, they buy Rolls Royce. But who makes the Ferraris? Who makes the Rolls Royce, right? Obviously the manufacturers, the company. You're giving money to them for something that they manufacture, and they say it's 100, like limited to 100 pieces in the world. But they have the technology and they have the manufacturing skills to manufacture 10,000. So why buy that? And also the money that you earn is issued by the Reserve Bank. It's printed by the Reserve Bank. So even if you're financially free, I could give you 10,000 cars, 10,000 houses, and 10,000 or like $10 trillion. Are you really free? You feel that you're free, but I can print not that much, but like I can print 10 billion to you. I can make that cars for you, so you're not free. So I think the younger generation, build in a sense that they want to be spiritually free. But to be spiritually free, a lot of people, again, they're arrogant. They're not humble. So they want to believe that they're smarter than other people. But I think everything that you can rate from 0 to 10 on a number scale are false. Because you're always following a system along when you're in the learning process. So whether, in a company. So in order for them to become smarter or more successful, they work more. They work more and more and more and more. Start from, 100K a year to 200K a year to 1 million a year to 10 million a year. But even if you reach 10 million a year, that's like superstar salary. But even at that time, you haven't escaped the matrix. You haven't escaped the system that the people who paid you assigned you to. And it doesn't have to be someone who pay you. It could be the government. It could be, even natural laws.
Right.
They assign you to a system, but to break out of the system, I think you need to be humble, not only to be refrained by like Ferraris and things like that. That's That's the basics.
Right.
But even just to be humble, just to not try to outsmart people, not try to be smarter than others, but don't seek for knowledge. Gain knowledge, but don't seek for it. Don't have the desire to do that. Don't have the desire to do that to appear good. Don't have the desire to do that to, on a scale of 0 to 10, be better than others. It's all false. So I think for younger generations, that's what at least the builders who build with me all share. And I think these people are who I really admire. And I think in the younger generation, it's very much about the spiritual thing.
Really? Wow. Do you think it's getting more and more difficult for younger generation, for Gen Z founders and other young people to make money nowadays? Is it getting harder and harder?
Yeah, honestly, it's getting quite hard. So, like from where I grew up in Australia, I went to primary school, secondary school, university in Australia. So I have classmates who, for example, are architects. So they would need to firstly do their undergrad and masters, and then after masters, they would need to work 7 years just drawing architectural plans for, it's very difficult for them. And with
why does he have to do that?
Oh yeah, it's to earn a license.
The license requires you to do that repeatedly for 7 years.
Yeah, right.
To grant you a license.
Yes. So you need to do that for 7 years to get a license.
Not a visa, just a license.
Just a license. Yeah. And with that license, you can finally become a true architect and design and plan things for people. And I think even after you become a real architect and plan things for people, you don't earn that much. So they tend to become, they tend to go into construction where you hire people and have industry resources. But why would you need 7 years of architecture experience to become a construction broker? So people are overqualified. And the reason why things are difficult, I believe, one, obviously the economics, like the economy is not that great. But secondly, it's the system. It's like I have a house, like for my house in Australia, I wanted to paint the wall, but I can't do that myself. I need to hire a painter. The reason for that is because the painter has a license. I can't do that. If I paint the wall and I sell the house, the wall somehow, breaks, the next buyer could be suing me because I painted the wall, even if it didn't contribute to the breakage. So these are things that stabilizes social hierarchies. It cuts off middle class, stabilizes social hierarchies. So, it becomes increasingly difficult for the younger generation to break that hierarchy. And I think, in Western countries, you have laws that do have bugs in it. So obviously you can break social norms. You can find holes, like loopholes in the law, but it's extremely difficult for young people without resources to do that. And when the economy is declining, it makes it even harder. And you need to have 50 job applications, not only to find one job. So yeah, I think, that's for my classmates, or that's for the same generation of people where you need to, have at least 10 years of experience for you to try anything beyond that.
What are they trying? The young peoples, what are they trying to make more money? What do you see?
Yeah. So especially the people, like I said, 7 years for architecture license, then you need at least 10 years plus to try design something for someone. And you can see the future after you graduate, and you can see everything, life beyond it. It gets very boring. So that's what some of them are trying. Some other people, I think, I don't know, let's say WeChat. They think WeChat lacks some feature. Yeah. Then they would build another WeChat that's better than WeChat.
You build it from ground up.
Yeah, that's smarter than every way in demo features.
That's impossible.
That's impossible. But obviously WeChat is too large. Nobody would try that. But if it's for a relatively new field, they would also try that. But from experience, I think it's the wrong direction forward. So a lot of people have been going round and round and round trying. So it's quite difficult for younger generation.
Right. Correct me for the next topic. I think I'm I'm 37. I'm turning 38. I started 10 years ago with my startup. I would say we're quite lucky. We're the lucky ones because we jump out of the college. I work for the investment bank. And when I came out from that investment bank, there were already venture capitalists going after us, giving us money. Here's the money. Go do something for us. We kind of like have the luck. We had the luck to try things out, to build things, and stumbling our ways into newer technology paradigm shifts, say crypto, say whatever, fintech. Do you think that younger people, younger founders, are samely lucky this time, or are they not as lucky as what you have seen?
It's luckier for the younger generation.
It's luckier.
Because right now we have AI, we have blockchain, we have everything going on.
Right.
Might not be good these 2 years, but it's definitely going to be great after.
I agree.
Because the younger generation doesn't have experience yet. Like you said, you came out of like capital firms, then that's a very good background.
Yep.
I have a friend who's around 50-something years old. He's also like a board member at a venture capital. He was saying like he witnessed a lot of founders starting from zero, and he would always give an advice to young founders is that before you have 10 plus years working experience in a particular very good industry, don't even try to found a business. Always have that 10 years going on, then it's much, much, much more likely for you to be successful and for you to have an edge over another person for investors. And it's about gaining experience for the younger generation yet. That's why it's difficult for us, but I think in 10 years it's going to be great. So luckier.
Right. You think it's luckier. I think we have different lucks, and we have different opportunities. I agree. AI is something, I think it's even bigger, greater than crypto itself. It could, potentially. And as for the experience, you mentioned you need to have some industrial experience. I feel this is quite true, especially for some areas in crypto, let's say DeFi. Because recently we only see, these TradFi people getting in, they crossed over into crypto, they got massive success, right? Wintermute, they were from Optiver, they are like one of the top market makers in option markets. And there are like financial engineering background people, they jumped into crypto. I think basically DeFi is something which requires extensive industrial knowledge.
Definitely.
Right? What do you see are the possible niche areas in crypto, AI, whatever came across your vision that are friendly to younger generation and at the same time has the potential to build the next billion companies? Billion-dollar companies.
Yeah, I think blockchain in general is quite very friendly for the young generation. It's not like AI. You don't have to graduate from Stanford and with a very decorative AI degree.
Right.
So for blockchain, even for me personally, I didn't finish my university. I founded projects. I went into blockchain, in second year undergrad.
Wow.
And I just barely found out the time to finish my degrees. So in that case, I think blockchain enables young people to start from somewhere else. It's not a bad thing. It's not a shameful thing to start from meme coin. It's not shameful to start from NFTs. And for me, like in high school, I was doing informatics Olympiad. So I was also national champion of Australia in multiple informatics competitions. So I did come from a technology background. But since I entered blockchain, I didn't actually write code. Like I wasn't a developer for any of my projects because I started from, I tried to change the direction. I didn't start AI initially when I went into the blockchain because I knew I didn't have accolades. I didn't have anything. So there would have been Stanford graduates, there would have been, Facebook employees who are much, much more advantaged.
That's right.
So I started from NFTs. And
plus, you didn't even finish your degree.
Yeah. So start from NFTs and then, went on to some memes. But then I learned DeFi. I learned AI, learned RWA, learned everything. And, and that's when I thought, okay, I have enough resources that I leverage from initially doing NFTs and memes. There's not many founders in blockchain. In 10 years, like if someone started doing web2.com in 1998, there would still be an extreme emoji. So in the case of blockchain, that would be the same. Just try.
Can you talk more specifically on the possible areas in crypto that you think are extremely friendly to people with no backgrounds to start with?
Like obviously, definitely, just the memes,
Memes
NFT.
still?
But beyond that, I think it's anything that sells. Like I was saying, Hermes is more like a meme because it's built on a community, it's built on belief to its product. So, like you said, Deepin, I think, is extremely friendly to people who don't really have a background because it's more about selling to consumers. I think Deepin plays on a consumer philosophy that people need to feel proud of what they buy. It's like buying Hermes. You can sell, for example, a Wi-Fi box or a decentralized Wi-Fi box for $1,000 and sell it to Americans, for example, who have relatively high pay, who are, middle class or a bit higher than middle class, who go to like Equinox for gym and meet each other on a weekend, talk about what coffee you drink. They feel very proud of going to a prestigious gym. They feel very proud of the coffee that they drink. And similarly, they'll feel very proud of the Wi-Fi box that they buy. So it's about consumer experience, about marketing. So I think Deepin is very, very friendly for, people, young people without a background.
Thank you for saying that because we spend so much time and money in the Deepin space, and we think it's growing too slow. We still believe in the future, but I think it's growing too slow. That leads us to another question. Are we timing the market correctly? Do you think we are? Do you think if in that analogy, do you think where are we?
Yeah, I think we are still pre-Facebook era.
Okay.
So probably like in 1999.
Okay.
Equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are yet to see people actually, like people in daily lives actually using the technology. They might be using it inadvertently, but they wouldn't directly use it. Like my grandma's not using crypto, right? So I think that's pre-Facebook era. But in 3 to 4 years, when firstly blockchain technology and the network becomes faster, and also regulations easen up.
Yep. Hopefully, I like that answer as well. Seems like you're bullish on the industry. That's good. Tell me more about Pancrest Capital. Where we're trying to invest. What's your investment philosophy? What's your strategy? What's your plan?
Yeah, like I said, amidst the market's honestly not going very well this year. For the latter half of this year, as we see Bitcoin decline. So I was saying we don't have consumers, so everyone's speculating. And amidst this market, it's very difficult for primary market investors. We see a lot of VC capital barely investing this year. So I think it's like a 90% decline for venture capital firms to invest in projects this year compared to last year. So it's simply because it doesn't make money. Founders, like there's a
why they don't make money? What do you think is the reason?
Because there's an information gap between founders and investors. Investors wouldn't really know what a founder's doing, and investors wouldn't really know, don't have control over any resources. But in our case, we invest with a philosophy of incubation. So we, most of our general partners, so are, like founders with at least, we have a lot of resources with basically most of the projects around the space. So we can connect most projects for partnerships, PR, and even exchanges. So, we could connect everything with them, and also development team. So if a project has any difficulties navigating their way around marketing or development, we can help them. We send these people in. So that greatly increases our chance to have a successful return. And, we can only walk alongside the builders instead of walking in front or behind. Yeah, so that's the philosophy we invest in. And I think a lot of founders, amidst this difficult market, some people look too short, so they don't have a sustainable business model. That's not what we want. But we fear even more the people who look too far forward. Because right now, I think the main goal is to survive for 5 years, to survive for 10 years. For those who survives for 10 years, you'll like, no matter how trash you are right now, in 10 years time, if you can survive, you're definitely going to be extremely successful. And survival means that you can't burn all your money. You need to actually cater for the gamblers. You need to cater for the speculators. And for myself, I have a bit of experience in both, and I'll design the brutal truth for them, for them to survive.
Okay.
So, we need a bit of control over the team instead of just investing and like letting it go. That doesn't work in the current market. So that's the investment philosophy for Pancrest Capital.
Do you only invest in crypto? That's the only area?
We mainly invest in crypto, but we do invest in blockchain and RWA initiatives. So we have two primary investment subsidiaries and one called Unified Ventures. So we invest in shares through a company called Unified Ventures, and we have invested in Alloy X and FinChains. Yeah.
What's your biggest confusion right now? It could be a confusion with the market, confusion with your business, the work, or life, if there's any.
Yeah, I think the confusion is when will that bubble pop?
Bubble of the market, the crypto market.
Yeah, because both with Tagger and both with Pancrest Capital, like I said, we want to navigate the long term and survive. But to survive, we need to be like extremely catered for the speculators in the market right now.
And what's your answer when the bubble will pop?
I think the bubble has already popped, but not visibly popped. Because you see, in the current cycle, since 2023, there hasn't really been an extremely lively on-chain, activity.
No.
It's not like 2021.
No.
So people don't really believe in stories anymore. So the bubble has popped. Everyone only believes in Bitcoin and come to, primary markets, come to on-chain just for memes or just for speculation and gambling. So I think the bubble has already popped. But the time when it really visibly pops, I think, is probably like the bull cycle, the bear cycle, sorry. The bear cycle when Bitcoin pops probably below, 70K, 60K even. I think that's when it really pops. And I think that will probably happen before mid next year.
Before mid next year.
Yeah.
You're telling this not based on any technical signals, but rather the mentality of the market.
Yeah, also technical signals, but also mentality of the market, yes. Because we've been waiting too long for something to appear, but nothing has happened.
So let's wrap it up. And I think we have covered so many topics, and you shared a lot of your thoughts. I'm happy to pick your brain. You're a brilliant, young, smart founder, and doing new, exciting stuffs. And thank you, Trevor, for joining us today. And I hope you can come back, and I want to hear more from you about your new ventures and your new business projects anytime.
Thank you very much for the invite, EO.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.